My name's Jason. I've been a corporate recruiter for 25 years. I'm going to tell you a secret. There's a reason why women are paid less than men consistently in corporate environments. I'm going to let you in on the inside scoop. Now, the first thing I should tell you is there's no company that I've seen in my 25 years. So maybe at some point, but in my 25 years doing this, I've never seen a company with a comp plan for men that's separate from the comp plan for women. We do have separate comp plans and breakdowns by geography, by region, a number of other things, but never by gender. I've never seen that happen. But there is a reason why men are consistently paid more than women are paid. Men are paid more than women because they ask for more. Men naturally shoot for the moon when they're trying to change jobs. What they're trying to do is set their salary based on what their value is in the marketplace. If they can get away with being paid a certain amount of money, they do it. They negotiate significantly harder as a whole. Now, by the way, right now I'm talking in stereotypes in general. What I can tell you is the people that have been a part of negotiations for me, more often than not, men behave this way. More often than not, women behave a certain. Women tend to back off a little bit in negotiations. They're not as aggressive. They tend to ask for less. They have a lower opinion of themselves that I think is a valid opinion to have. I'm going to give you an example of a woman that I think is an incredibly powerful and well-respected person who ultimately had a lower opinion of herself than I think made sense. There's a family member of mine, we'll call her Dr. Marcy. Dr. Marcy was applying for a job. She had been an occupational therapist in a school district for a number of years. She has a doctorate. She's very well regarded and well respected in her field. And she'd been working for a school district, and she was applying for a job where she would be a professor on a tenure track at a university. And the person who was interviewing her made what is normally a mistake. The mistake that they made was they gave the salary range, the full salary range. Now, more and more often, companies are giving salary ranges, and in some states, it's actually required now to give the salary range for a job. What Marcy did is she called me up and said, hey, they said what this range was. I'm going to just use a random number. They said it was between $100,000 and $150,000. What should I say I want? And I said, $150,000. And she said, but I'm not paid nearly that. I'm not even paid $100,000 where I am now. I said, but you're worth $150,000. What's happened is they've told you that their maximum as far as they can go is $150,000. If you ask for 100, nobody gets any brownie points or bonuses for giving you 100 versus 150. Nobody has to get special permission for the 150. 150 is the number. You always ask for the 150, but she didn't want to do it. She was worried about it. She said, I don't know. I'm not paid as much for this. What should I do? I said, what's your name? And she said, my name is Marcy. And I said, that's not your name. Your name is Dr. Marcy. Dr. Marcy deserves $150,000, don't you think? And Dr. Marcy said, yeah, I think so. But I said, what's your name? And she said, my name is Marcy. I said, no, it's not. Your name is Dr. Marcy. Dr. Marcy's worth $150,000. We did this, I kid you not, at least 5 times. Back and forth. I had to convince Dr. Marcy to go ask for the money that I think she deserved. Now, as it turns out, she wouldn't ask for the top range. So we'll call it $150,000. She asked for that number. And as it turns out, they're getting the deal. They're getting a bargain. I think she's underpaid now. She should go ask for more money because Dr. Marcy just went and got a massive grant that is going to fund all sorts of really interesting academic research for this university, a grant they never would have gotten without her. And Dr. Marcy's absolutely worth her number, her $150K, and she could ask for more now. Here's what I learned. By the way, this isn't limited. I've got a story about Dr. Sommer. I got a story about software engineers. I had a software engineer she was coming to work for me, actually, for my team. And she had taken some time off to raise her kids. Went back to school, worked for Girls Who Code for a little while. And she came back and asked for a pretty low amount of money. Basically what I'd pay a brand new college graduate. I was like, I don't know. This doesn't feel right. And her boss came to me and said, I think we could get her for this number, but I think it's below market. And I said, we don't penalize people for staying at home and raising their kids. So let's give her the number aligned with the skill level that we have. And this, by the way, the low number is the one that she'd asked for. So we ended up matching a salary of another person in the team, and she got leveled out. But she was asking for way less than she was really worth. Now, I do think she had a gap in her resume, and a lot of companies, a lot of people will penalize you for that gap, but it's a very reasonable gap to me. If you have a gap because you've made a life decision and you've decided I'm going to raise my kids. By the way, the story I was going to tell about Dr. Sommer, PhD in computational mathematics, took off a significant amount of time to be a super qualified homeschool mom and was raising 4 boys at the time. So Dr. Sommer came to me and said, "Will companies pay you to do math?" And I said, "Oh yeah, they'll pay you to do math. Data scientists do very well." And later on, she came back with a salary question where a company was offering to pay her significantly more than her current job. And she was like, "I don't know about that." And I was like, "No, Dr. Sommer, you should ask for more money. You deserve it. Absolutely." So my experience is that these women absolutely deserve more money than they're trying to ask for. And that is why women are paid less than men consistently. So what do you do?
That could you?
What do you do about this? Here's what you do. For the women out there who are watching this, listen very carefully. Go and look at a salary survey, see what the market is saying that the value is at that company. Go and check with other people who work there. Ask them what a reasonable salary is, what you should ask for. I think this is a practice everyone should have, by the way. Go and ask somebody who works at the company what they think a reasonable number is for you to ask for. That's really helpful if you're being hired through an employee referral, and somewhere between 20 and 30% of the people in the world are hired through employee referrals. Talk to your friend that's referring you, find out what a reasonable number is for you to ask for. Do that consistently, and that will help you set the right target. You set the target at what the market value is, not what you happen to randomly think that you're worth. You are worth what the market will pay every single time. There's no other value there. This is a job market. Your number is what the market says your number is. And don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about it at all. You absolutely deserve it. Now, the other thing that happens sometimes is that women stay in jobs where they're paid less than they should be paid, and they stay longer. And you make significantly more money when you change jobs. You just do. There's a bump that happens when you go from job A to job B. And that happens pretty consistently. So women will say to a company, this is back to my Dr. Sommer conversation, same story. She was going to this place that was going to pay her significantly more. And her company, they'd been very good to her. They were good people. She really enjoyed them. She had a good relationship with the leadership team there. They were taking good care of her, except they were paying her way less than this other company was willing to pay. And she said, "I feel bad. They just put me through this big training program for leaders, and they're trying to set me up for leadership and to do more and to expand my career here within the firm. And there are people who've gone to bat for me." And my perspective on that, and this is what I share with her, is I said, "I think they're blowing smoke. They're stealing from you. If the market says your value is X and they're paying you X minus 20%, they're taking 20% of what you deserve based on the market value of your skills. They're taking that money from you. Now, if your loyalty makes it where you want to give them back 20% of your money, the money that you could be earning, then do it. Stay where you are. If it's so much more comfortable there to stay than it would be to go somewhere else, because there's something to be said about contentment in your work. If you're content in that job and you like the people you work with, that might be worth 20%. That might be worth staying for. We all have to make our own decisions on that. So if that's worth it, then stay. Otherwise, get up and go. Get out of there and find the next job. And this particular one was way more than 20%. She's being paid, offered a pretty big number. In these situations, ask for more. Don't bring emotion into it. It's a business decision. There's a market value. If you're being paid less than market value for your skills and capabilities, go somewhere else. And when somebody asks you what you want, ask for the market value of your skills and capabilities. You determine that market value through salary surveys. Things like Glassdoor and Fishbowl are useful for that. Indeed is the other place that's really interesting salary surveys. So it started there. But then I would ask a person, to dial in the accuracy, I would ask a person that works there what a reasonable salary is to ask for when you get to that question. The question's always going to come. And if they're a good recruiter, the way that they're going to ask is, what will it take for us to get you here? What's your number? The other thing to do is don't give them a number. Ask for their number. Get to the situation that Dr. Marcy was in where she knew what the top of the range was. She just asked for that number. You give me the range, I'll go for, if you say that it's 100 to 150, I want the 150. And tell me why I'm not worth it otherwise. And see what happens. See what happens when you make that request. They may come back to you and say, we pay in this percentile and that's at the maximum. I've got to pay you less. Fine. At least you started at the high number and didn't have to start at the low number, because you're never getting anything else out of them if you start at the low number. All right. That's it. That's why women make less than men and what you do about it, how you change that outcome for yourself.